I've played a lot of different Ironman accounts from region locked to chunk locked and even a few hardcores, but there's one kind of Ironman account I've never really taken a crack at. So come and join me while I bumble my way through this new adventure and see what kind of challenges are waiting for me. My name is EmperorWlnut and this is my Ultimate Ironman series. Hi everyone and welcome back for episode 2. Naturally, I missed the actual pop-up for level 50, but we did finally get 50 thieving right in time for the start of the episode. So, obviously I'm still very short of the 270k I'm going to need for my construction grind, but that's perfectly fine because we're going to go ahead and get started right on that woodcutting grind. We need to get to level 60 so I can get into the guild, and we're going to fletch as much as possible on the way. That way I can sell a bunch of willow bows until I hit 60 and hopefully pull up a little bit of cash. So I'm going to toss out this cake, open up these coin pouches, and we're going to be on our way. So before I start the woodcutting grind, I did want to come back to Port Sarim and buy a couple of arrow packs because obviously I need to get 35 fletching so I can make willow shortbows to sell during the woodcutting grind. And the easiest way I can find to do that is if I just make headless arrow shafts. For every set of 15 arrow shafts you make, headless arrow shafts, you get a total of 20 XP. You get 5 XP for making the arrow shafts and another 15 for adding on the feathers. So it's going to take roughly 1100 arrow shafts or so to get me to level 35, at least based on what the calculator is telling me. My math might be wrong on that. I'm hoping it's not, but I think how many feathers do you get per... Oh yeah, you get 100 feathers, so I'm going to have to buy 11 of these packs, which I don't mind burning up a little bit of my gold because I can always just steal it back. But yeah, these 1100 feathers should be enough to drop me off at level 35 fletching. If not, I can always just come back and buy more, so that's not going to be a big deal. I am kind of bummed I didn't have OBS running to record it, but I actually did get the Lederhosen hat, so this is a nice little accessory to have while I'm doing some forestry work. That's going to be another round done with Evil Bob. I have no idea what level this is going to drop me off at, but it is nice to see so many fishing levels having rolled in without actually having done a single fish, so yeah, being level 15 isn't too bad. There's 15 wood cutting, and now I can switch over to oak trees. Also, looking at my feather stack, my fletching level, I cannot fathom where I pulled that number out of that I thought I was only going to need 1100 to hit 35. I'm just not going to calculate that again because I really don't need to embarrass myself anymore, but needless to say, I'm going to need a lot more. So basically, I'm just going to stay here in Hosidius and cut a bunch of oak logs because there are oak trees everywhere over Hosidius. They're all around the bank, these other buildings. There's also a bunch of willow trees just up at the river. This pond down here is completely surrounded by them, so I'm just going to cut oaks until they hit 15 and just keep fletching arrow shafts. So however many arrow shafts I end up with by the time I hit level 30 woodcutting, I'll go buy more feathers, make those into arrow shafts, and just see where I'm at from there, because I can always cut a few more oak trees to get more arrow shafts if I have to. That way, as long as I'm cutting willow trees, I can just keep making bows, whether I'm down here or up at the river, and then I can just keep running them to the general store and selling them off to kind of help recoup the loss I make on buying all these feathers, plus what I'm going to need towards buying all the oak planks for my house. Okay, now that I'm going to hit 15 fletching, I can I can fletch arrow shafts from oak logs. I'm going to need 274 oak logs to get from level 17 to 30, which is where I'm at right now, which will put me, let's see, that'll give me, 274 times 30 arrow shafts per log. So I'm going to end up with about 8,200 arrow shafts. So after I finish that up, I'll come back and buy a bunch of feathers, throw them all together, and see how much fletching XP that'll get me. I honestly don't think that will drop me off at 35, but if it doesn't, I can always just fletch a little extra. That's going to be 30 woodcutting, and after my hilariously awful calculations, I'm only at 21 fletching after making all these arrow shafts. So I still plan to take these logs, I'll make them into more arrow shafts, go buy some more feathers, and just do up what I can. So I'll see what level that drops me off at, and after that I'll just have to keep cutting oaks until they hit 35, because unfortunately I didn't realize how slow fletching is in comparison to wood cutting, so I'm going to be stuck at oaks for a little while longer, but as soon as I can hit 35 fletching, I can switch to willows and start selling them off for a little extra cash. Honestly, I haven't touched this skill since I hit 99 on my main years ago, but I never noticed there's no make all option for these arrow shafts. Like, are you serious, Jagex? You really couldn't give us just that one tiny little quality of life update? Okay, so now while I'm at 30 fletching, I still can't make willow short bows, but I can make arrow shafts out of willow logs if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Yeah, so I actually am going to go ahead. I'll use up these last bit of feathers, but now I'm going to go back to Hosidius and finally start cutting willow trees. I'll just make the logs into arrow shafts, come back and buy more feathers, because for whatever reason, the Piscarilius fishing shop doesn't sell feathers, which is really weird to me because it's a giant fishing colony, but whatever. So once I do that, I'll just keep doing that till I hit 35. Then I can finally switch to making short bows. I honestly can't believe it took me this long to get my first dunce random. I've gotten a few genie lamps, which unfortunately I think I caught one in one of the clips. Maybe I didn't, but this is actually pretty exciting. I don't even know what skill I'm going to put this on. I will have to decide after I actually finish this, which will take like a hot second. This is honestly one of my favorite randoms. Like, not just because it's obviously super easy, but like, I just love the design of this little area. Like, I like to poke around and see. I remember when this first came out, they actually, when you finish the random event, you know, they would tell you, oh, go to the purple door or the blue door or whatever. But to help compensate for colorblind players, she now says just, you know, pick any door. So that was a nice little touch by Jagex. But now that I'm wrapped up with that, let's see. What do I want to put this on? Actually, you know what? I want to probably put it on construction. Just, you know, that's a few more planks I'm not going to have to worry about making. I didn't get a level out of it, but still not too bad. And that's level 35 fletching. Now I can finally start making short bows to sell. This has been pretty nice so far. I'm able to get about 600 gold or so per inventory of willow short bows. And the other nice thing is the run distance isn't bad at all. I've just been going down to this pond down here, running up to sell, and just doing this back and forth, back and forth. The other thing too is I'm actually pretty close to getting 40 fletching, which means I can switch over to making long bows. And depending on how many willow logs I'd have to cut to hit 60, I could actually start doing maple short bows before I actually hit 60. I could switch over to cutting maples to finish off wood cutting instead of willows, but I just want to stick on them to make the money. So actually I'll end up making a little bit more than I thought I would. I've actually gotten a few seed nests so far, and it's just so painful being on an Ultimate Ironman and having to throw these away, because I honestly don't know if I can even do anything with bird nests right now. If there is, I honestly can't think of it. So just tossing these on the ground, man, it just sucks to see. But, you know, I have to do what I have to do to keep the inventory clear. That was 41 wood cutting, and now I can actually use rune axes. The sad part is I was looking at the shop in the wood cutting guild, and you can buy a rune axe as soon as you can go in there, but I mean, the cost of one is just ridiculous. It's a little over 40k to buy a rune axe, where an adamant one is only 4k. So I will be sticking with an adamant axe for a while. I mean, I'm sure there's a way I could get my hands on a rune one, but for now, sadly, I'm just going to have to do without. There's 40 fletching, and now I can switch over to making longbows, which is great, because they'll sell for a little bit more. 45 wood cutting, and I can, well, I'm not going to now, but eventually I can switch to maples when my fletching level's high enough. It finally hit me that I could just go ahead and toss out my hammer and saw, because it honestly didn't occur to me that, oh, I need the two spaces, and I'm not going to need them for a long time. I also ended up with my first medium clue, so I want to see what the step is. And, oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's just an algorithm. Okay, I saw the Nightmare Zone and thought I couldn't actually do that, so what, do I just have to go to him and tell him the code, I would assume? Yeah, so yeah, I'll definitely hold on to that. Maybe I can see if I can actually complete a medium clue. Let's go 1kc Ranger Boots. There's level 50 wood cutting mahogany trees. I don't know if those serve any purpose right now, but hey, I can cut them. Another XP random. This should drop me off at 22 construction. Yep, there we go. Fantastic. And oak stuff. And that is finally 50 fletching, which means I can make maple short bows. So I am going to leave Hosidius, because all the way over in Sears Village, there are a couple of maple trees right here, and I can just run down to this general store and just keep running and selling. So a much shorter run, and I will get a little more XP and money out of it. It'll still take a little longer because I'm stuck with my steel axe, but the money is kind of what I care more about, because I still need roughly another like 200k before I can finish off my construction grind with the price of oak planks, and you tack on the nails after I hit 33 to make oak larders. So I'm going to head over and start chopping maples. Okay, so I was not paying attention, and I AFK'd right here at the mine because I was running up to go cut maple trees, and I wanted to get up. I think I was getting a drink or something, and I happened to not pay attention. So thank God Ultimate Ironman have an hour-long death pile timer, because the marks of grace I don't care about, the glue scroll, like all this junk, whatever, but bro, if I lost that 100k, oh, I would have been absolutely livid. Alright, there's a second piece of Fashionscape. That's pretty nice to have, actually. I wonder if I can get a pair of pants before I can get the costume room built. Oh, damn, there's another easy clue, and that is a very doable step. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to flux the rest of these and go try this easy clue, because this is getting a little mind-numbing, which is sad to say is an ultimate, but I just need to break it up and do something else for a minute. This will be the first step. Let's see how lucky we can get. Another clue scroll. What is it? First floor of the tree. I can also do that step. Next step, let's see if I can get a casket. Please. Oh, we did get the casket. And what we get? Huh. You know what? I'm actually not mad at that. I will keep that magic amulet for a while. The willow bow, I'll just sell that, I guess. But no, I am not mad at all at a magic amulet. Crossing the fingers, no Charlie step. No Charlie step. Hey, no Charlie step. You know what? I hate to say, there's actually not much of a reason for me to do this right now. I mean, I'm happy not to have a Charlie step, but we're going to skip the beginner clues for now. I'm having really good luck with easy clues, so fingers crossed for another easy clue. Well, the good news is I can make a bullet plate. The bad news is I probably am not going to see one for a very, very long time, but I can dream. 60 woodcutting, and the wait is finally over. That actually didn't take as long as I thought it would, honestly. I mean, with a steel axe, cutting the maples was pretty damn slow, but with a little short of a run to the shop down there, it wasn't too bad, so I do still have quite a bit of gold to make. I need another 150, 160k, because I need to compensate for the cost of the nails and all that when I start making planks, but I'll have some time to think about how I'm going to earn that while I get to 33 construction anyway using the Port Gazard planks, so I'll figure that out as I go, but it's finally time to get myself a better axe and get started on construction. Before I actually start construction, I want to clear out a couple of more inventory spaces, because if I can get down to 24 plus the 25th slot for the nails, that means I can do an extra larder on my trips. So I'm going to go see if I can finish this medium clue. If I get a step, ooh, shit. If I get a step I can't do, I'm just going to toss the clue. It is what it is. Like, obviously there's always that one chance of, getting rangers out of my first casket, but I'm not going to dream of that. So if I can get it done, great. I'm also going to use up this last teleport tab just to use it. It would be a free trip back to Remington, but that's okay. The bee hat, like, I could just wait to get the random again, but I really want to hold on to the bee hat just because it's a bee hat. I will toss out the knife because I'm not going to need that anymore. I'll have to also have 2 slots for the hammer and the saw, so I'm going to go back to rooftops for just a little bit. I'm going to get 2 more marks of grace, because if I do that, I can buy the boots, the cape, and the gloves, which means I can keep all my Fashionscape, and I can actually cut down my weight a little bit. So that'll clear out another inventory slot. So that should give me, with the hammer, the saw, and the nails, that should open up all of these spaces for, that way I'll have 24 and I can still keep the bee hat. I think I mapped that out right. If I didn't, I can always toss the bee hat, but I really would rather keep it if I possibly can. So I'm going to try and finish up this medium clue, and hopefully I can get lucky. What is the next step? How many? Wait, what? Oh, I forgot to actually answer the question. Let's see, 9,500. All right, and the next step is, where is that? Back Falls. Can I actually do that? Do you have to start the waterfall quest to do that, or can you actually just go there? Well, I guess I'm gonna find out. So I gotta go get some rope. So yeah, it turns out you actually can't use the raft without starting the waterfall quest, so that I don't mind doing. I can't finish it, unfortunately, because I'm pretty sure to get in the tomb, you can't have anything in your inventory, or I don't think you can be wearing any equipment either, so I'm going to have to skip it for now. I can always come back and do the quest later, but so long as I can get this clue done, that's all I really care about, so I am really hoping this next step is one I can do. And dig. Let's see what we get. Sir, that is in Corsair Cove. Again, actually, that'll work, because I just have to start the quest and I can go there. So, yeah, I may actually be able to finish this medium clue. Okay, so I missed the OBS button because I'm a horrible person, but the next step is just in Catherby, so that is, I think I'm guaranteed a casket on this. I think mediums are either 4 or 5 steps. I don't exactly remember, but I'm going to find out. Come on, show me the casket. Oh, yeah, it's just 2, blah, blah, blah. Come on, I want my casket. Please, please. Really? I got another step. Please tell me I can do this one. I didn't even look to see where it is. Oh, thank God. Oh, shit. What's the fastest way back to Lumbridge? I will figure that out. This has to be the casket. Show me the casket. There it is. And click. Um. Okay. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world, I guess. The D'hide legs are kind of neat. Unfortunately, I'm probably just going to sell them because I know I could toss them in one of my costume boxes, but I'm not going to have enough space in my inventory for how I want to set this up. So, yeah, unfortunately, they're probably going to have to go. Sadly, I did have to give up my beekeeper's hat to make room for that last plank, but it's nicer this way because since I can make three larders at a time, it's going to cut a huge chunk of time, even off of getting some of these lower levels. See, this is I didn't bend too many nails. That's why I bought so many. I was kind of afraid I'd break a ton, but so my plan is still to do this to 25, which will get me the Hosidius portal. Part of me kind of wants to just spend the gold and do this at the woodcutting guild after I hit 25 because it would save me more time not having to run back and forth between Port Khazar just to make these larders. It's kind of like, do I want to take the time to earn the gold back that I spend even on regular planks? So I'm going to have to figure out how many more larders I need to get to 33. So if the cost isn't too bad, I might just go ahead and do it. Anything to really help me cut down on time. This is going to make 25 construction, which means I could officially move my house to Hosidius when I'm ready to use the sawmill. I'm still kind of thinking on how I want to handle it because the issue is even if I were to do regular larders until I hit 48, obviously it would take a lot longer doing it this way, or if I use the sawmill. It would be free if I stuck with the Port Khazard method. It would just take a lot more time. And even if I move my house to Zayan now and start using the sawmill to make regular planks and do regular larders until I hit 48, the cost it's really just about the same. Oak planks are still a little more expensive if I do that from 33 onward, but I still need to get 33 anyway so I could do oak larders. So while I do that, and maybe I'll go work on the Hosidius favor requirements and just kind of think about how I want to handle it. That's kind of one of the pitfalls I find myself falling into right now is Ultimate Ironmen do kind of need quite a bit of planning when you go ahead with stuff like this, and I didn't really sit down and properly plan out all the possible ways I could do this. So I kind of want to step back and think about this a little more while I take care of a few more levels and, like I said, maybe go knock out the Hosidius favor. Pretty much the only way worthwhile of getting a Hosidius favor once you get past like the initial few percent, which I did when I did X marks the spot because I got that free 20%. But basically, you just come down to the saltpeter mine and you take the saltpeter, combine it with a bucket of compost to make sulfurous fertilizer, and you give it to the clerk over here. It's also nice because there's a stall right up in Hosidius that sells compost. You can buy it from like most farming NPCs, but the problem is every single time you do it, you have to go through the dialogue. If there's some kind of skip, I couldn't find it. I did like a quick search. I didn't really find any answers. So it's going to take me quite a few laps between here and there. But the nice thing is I can organize the buckets and the saltpeter. So every time I have a full inventory with fertilizer already in it, I can go give up the fertilizer to clerk, go back and buy more compost buckets. That way they organize themselves in perfect rows like this, because the sucky thing is you still have to manually click like each piece of saltpeter to put it in the fertilizer bucket. It's one of those quality of life things. Like, it's not a huge deal. Like, if Jagex changed it eventually, that'd be really cool, but it's not that big of a deal. So this is what I'm going to be doing to get to 90%, and then I'll knock out I absolutely forget the name of the quest, but I'll knock that out for my last 10%, and that'll give me 100% Hosidius favor. So I can finally go in the woodcutting guild, and actually this patch right here is the one that'll become completely disease free. So I can plant obviously I like my Raynar seeds and other stuff here, and never have to worry about it. So that'll be a nice few things taken care of, and I'm still kind of rolling around ideas as to how I can earn more money to pay for all those oak planks. So I knew it was going to happen because I wasn't going to be paying attention when I was buying compost. I accidentally bought packs of compost from the stall, which isn't the end of the world. It sure did eat up a bunch of my gold, and I don't even need all this compost, so that's a great waste of money. But the other issue is now instead of running to the stall, I have to run up to the bank, denote it, come back down and keep doing this. I also lose a space, so I'm probably going to toss out the saw so I still have enough to put the note down here. it just, I knew it was going to happen. I knew as soon as I saw the compost packs and the compost in the shop, I told myself I was going to end up doing this. It's not going to make it any slower. It's just an inconvenience I really didn't need. Good news! I was completely wrong about having to run out to the bank. There is a bank chest right down here on the beach that is 10 times faster than running to the other bank, so this works out just fine. This will be the last batch of fertilizer I have to hand in, and that'll get me to 90%. Realistically, I could just burn up the rest of this compost and get to 100% doing that, but I want to do the quest anyway. The Depths of the Despair, by the way, is what it was called, because I can't remember anything. Because not only does it get me that last 10%, and it does unlock the Sand Snake that I can use in the Nightmare Zone further down, but it would also unlock the first teleport I have for the memoirs here, because that'll teleport me to somewhere in Hosidius. So it kind of just knocks out a few things I want to get taken care of. So I'll go finish that quest real quick, and then I can finally start moving on to more construction and getting more money. So before I do the quest, I am going to knock out the 20% Arceus favor real quick, because I need access to the staff shop so I can buy a new staff and get some runes so I can safe spot the snake. Because I could go back to Varric and get them, but I'd really just rather not leave Zaya right now. It's just a whole lot of traveling I don't want to do. Plus, getting only 20% isn't going to be too bad, because I only have to find 4 of the books, which RuneLight does make it a little easier, because once you find the initial spots, it'll give you a really good idea of where most of the books are. So it shouldn't take me too long to find them, and I only have to turn in 5 books since they're worth 5% each. So this is just a short little detour that really won't be that bad. Now, I was wrong again. For some reason, I thought it was 5% per book you turn in. It's only 2.5, which, again, that's still really not that terrible. Plus, you do get the Arcane Knowledge Tones, which you can turn in for Magic or Runecrafting XP. I'll absolutely be putting those on Magic, but I know I've heard of like a few Ironman and other Ultimates doing this for Runecrafting training, which sounds like an absolute hell, but, you know, you do what you have to do with these kind of accounts. I ended up grabbing just 100 casts of Fire Strike. There's no part of me that believes this thing won't go down to that. I can also just pray melee. I know there's a safe spot that the quest recommends you use, but I'm more than certain I have enough prayer points to deal with this, so I can just get rid of the snake, go back out, and finish the quest up. And that's the quest all finished up, so I get the teleport addition to my book, and now I have 100% Osidious favor. Or no, I will after I use this certificate here. So I kind of hashed it out with one of my friends about what I could do about the gold situation. Unfortunately, just with how new my account is, I don't have access to a lot. It kind of came between the 3 of either running the agility pyramid, doing a few quests to get to the Lost Tribe and all of that so I could steal jewelry from the ham rooms, or I could just keep fletching maple short and longbows here if I only need 1 more level to do the longbows. So at least for right now, I'm honestly just going to opt out and do bows for a while. I'm going to go buy a rune axe, which unfortunately is another like 40k coming out of my pocket, which I honestly don't mind at this point because I've already lost so much money accidentally buying the compost and doing a few other things that at this point it's like, what's another 40k? Plus it'll help me cut maples way faster, because doing it with a steel axe was just complete torture. So I'll probably do that to earn the rest of the gold I need. I will definitely do agility pyramid at some point, because you really can't beat, trading in those little pyramids at the top for 10k each. It's just, I know you need a higher agility level than 50. Like, 50 probably wouldn't be too awful, because I know technically you can do it at 30, but absolutely nobody will tell you to do it at 30, because it's just a nightmare. You'll never pass any of the hard obstacles. I did it on a few accounts. I think I did it on one of my other Ironmans at 55 or 60, but again, that would be more time put into another skill that I don't necessarily need right now. I kind of want to just keep on this construction track. So maples it is for now, unless I just come up with another random better idea. This right here, this is probably one of the most painful things I'm going to have to throw away. Like, every fiber of me is telling me not to throw this away, because I know how important Spirit Seeds are for Ultimate Ironman. And I don't want to see it go, but I just can't do anything else with it. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to just bid it adieu. And there it goes. I wanted to take a little bit of a break from fletching, mostly because I was having a little bit of back and forth with a few of my friends on Discord. And I kind of decided, while the fletching was nice in the sense that it was super AFK and I could sell the maple bows for like a little bit of money, I really just want to get into the construction grind, so I need to earn that gold back a little faster. You can see the cash stack has, again, shrunk a little bit, but there's a few reasons for that. I actually went ahead and did a few quests that way I could knock out the Lost Tribe and finally get access to the bone crossbow and the ammo for it. This is, again, like one of the most iconic weapons for any Iron Man, and I really wanted to have it and be able to use it. So I'm down here at the sand grabs getting the ranged and defense levels. The defense levels so I can, use the studded gear and have something a little better. I headed over to the Lumbridge cow fields and grabbed some leather and, whipped up like the basic stuff. So I'm just earning the levels to use the studded and the bone crossbow. But the biggest reason I'm doing all of this is because I want to try, and God help me, but I want to try blackjacking to make money. Blackjacking is, like, even for mains, it can actually be, like, one of the most profitable things you can do, especially with thieving. And it's easy. It's even easier now, like, with the way RuneLite works, it's much easier than it used to be to do it. So my idea is now I'm going to sit at Sand Crabs until I'm 28, switch over to the Bone Crossbow, get around, I'm thinking like 40 ranged, and then go take on the feud, because there's an NPC in the quest, a thug, who is paper thin in his range defense, so I can use the Bone Crossbow, tear through him, get the feud done, and the feud quest is what unlocks blackjacking. So I'm going to give it a try, hopefully not develop carpal tunnel trying it, and get that cash stack way, way, way back up. Second easy casket coming from the sand crabs, and let's see what we get. Okay, don't mind the extra gold. Everything else I'll just toss it, but no, I'm not mad at a little extra money. 28 ranged, which means I can switch over to the bone crossbow and toss out the knives. I actually grabbed these from the Rogue's Den just to help get me through the first few levels, but yeah, with the bone crossbow, this is going to get so much easier. It just hits a lot harder and is way more accurate. There was 40 range, now I can head off and go take care of the feud quest. I should have recharged my prayer points before the fight, but even that, like with the bone crossbow, I'm absolutely slapping this guy, so I'm definitely glad I took the time to get the range level so I can use this thing. I finished up the second fight, and I actually totally forgot you get an adamant scimitar from the bandit leader that spawns over here. Like, the sad part is I would like to keep it, but I don't have an inventory slot that I can sit in while I do my construction grind. And honestly, it's not like I can't get another adamant scimitar, or I could just wait till I hit 40 attack and just get rune stuff anyway. But, I mean, that's cool to have. I can sell it, but I'm kind of sad I can't keep it. And that's the feud all taken care of, so now I can head back down to Palna Beach and blackjack for a while and hopefully walk away with quite a bit of gold. I'm sure it's not as bad as people make it out to be. Like, everyone says, oh, blackjacking's horrible, it'll break your wrist, but I won't be locked there for, hours and hours for right now, so hopefully I can come up with that 270k pretty quick. It took me a while to get the camera angle right, but I totally understand why people do blackjacking now. This has got to be some of the easiest money in the game. I haven't moved my mouse in like 15 minutes. It kind of sucks I have to do the lower level bandits just because I'm only level 53 thieving, but once I hit 65 and I can do the Menophyte thugs, this is going to be ridiculous. I kind of want to get the rogues outfit because it'll help me double my money, but with limited inventory space and my house not built up yet, I don't really have anywhere I can store it, so I might have to do this without it for a while, but even so, this is still really good money. Okay, so I actually did decide to get the Rogue's outfit, which means I'm going to have to death pile for the first time, so I'm just going to unalive myself on these nettles here, which means everything will be stuffed at Edgeville. I can minigame teleport over to Berthorpe, go down to the Rogue's Den and do the minigame for... I'll probably do it for about 50 to 55 minutes just to give myself a window to get back here, because I'm going to be super paranoid about my stuff disappearing. And then I can either minigame teleport to Soul Wars and pop out here and grab my stuff, or for whatever reason... If it's on cooldown, if I had to use it for some reason, I can just go down here, steal, 12 coins for a bronze axe, buy it, use a canoe, come all the way back up to Edgeville and grab my stuff, and just keep repeating this. The RuneLite plugin is going to help me substantially to get through this. It didn't take too long on my main, so I'm really hoping I get lucky with this. So I'm going to go ahead and death pile and head over to the Rogue's Den. Small hiccup in the plan. I kind of forgot you can't take anything into the Rogue's Den. That includes the pieces, which I did get one of, which is nice. But while the minigame teleport's on cooldown, I'm going to have to come to Lumbridge, get the axe, go back to Edgeville, grab my stuff, suicide, then go back to Berthorpe for another round. Otherwise, I can only do this every 20 minutes, which, I guess I could do that too, but, the only thing I could do is more thieving in between, so I'd rather just go back to Berthorpe and continue running the Rogue's Den. I'm really hoping this is the last piece. I have been at this for a little over 2 hours now. Oh, thank God, yes! That is the last crate, and that's my gloves. So now I can head back over to Edgeville and grab my stuff and get right back to thieving. I'm actually really happy I decided to do this. I mean, come on, this is peak Ultimate Ironman fashion. I get to hold on to the bone bolts, I still have my graceful cape, I have all my stuff for blackjacking, and the tiny little bit left that I'm going to have to do something with when I start doing construction. It took a little while, but I've finally got the cash stack I need so I can do the oak larders when I actually hit 33. I still need to do the Port Gizzard method to get to 33 anyway. I am up to 26. I've had some pretty good luck with random events while doing this for a few hours. And I am so close to, 61, so, oh crap. So I am just going to stack up a little more gold and just finish out the level, and then I'll finally get to it. I'm so close to being able to get on this grind and finally have a place to put all these different costume pieces. So I actually decided to take care of a couple of things before I started doing the 25 to 33 construction with the larders. I went ahead and did the Easy Arty Diary because with the cloak and the teleport, it'll let me get back there a lot faster because I can just finish up building the larders, teleport back, run down and get planks, and then, teleport back into the monastery. It just shortens the run by a ton. I also went ahead and did Tree Gnome Village, Grand Tree, and Fight Arena because that got me to 41 attack, which means I can wield the rune axe that I've been cutting logs with, so that just frees up an inventory space. I kind of goofed up a little bit when I was planning this. I didn't know you can't put untradeable items in a looting bag, so unfortunately, my graceful pieces are just going to be stuck here until they hit 42 and I start making oak larders, because then at least I can store it in a magic wardrobe. Because at that point, my inventory will be a lot more cleared up because, obviously the nails will be gone. All I'm going to have is the cash stack, my tools, and that should actually be it. So I can start, running 3 larders at a time. So once I get 42, toss the graceful away, then it's just a clear sailing until I hit 48 and finally be done with this. That's 33 construction all done, and now I can move on to the oak larders. I also figured out a way I can solve my inventory problem because I forgot that you can build a tool store if you build the workshop, which will cost me another 10k, which is not a big deal. I'll just go get more money. So, now that I have full rogues, it's not that bad to earn the money. But what I can do with that is I can toss out the nails and the arty cloak, so that frees up 2 slots. I'd still have an empty slot down here, but if I build a tool store 1, that gives me access to a hammer and a saw. So all I have to do is toss one of these out because I'll still have one inventory slot, or I'll still have one inventory slot open. So every time I come back to my house, I just have a full inventory of planks. I drop 1 plank, grab the saw out of the tool store, build oak larders, pick the plank back up, and then make the 3rd one. So I can still do 3 larder runs, which will speed up the grind a lot more. So that I'm glad I was able to work that out because I was really panicking. I thought I was going to be stuck making 2 larders, which this kind of just proves more that I should research a little more before I start doing these methods. I wanted to, I don't want to say I wanted to go into this grind completely blind and not look anything up because I felt like I'd be cheating myself, but I created a lot of roadblocks for myself in this episode just because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. And I was like, oh no, I'll just do everything by myself and not look up anything. But obviously I ended up using the wiki quite a bit and talking to my friends because, why wouldn't I use the resources I have? So I definitely will try to plan things out a little better going forward in the future with other grinds. But I'm going to go down and get a little more gold and then start building oak larders after I move my house. So I think that's where I'll go ahead and call the episode, and I will see you guys next time.